My wife 27F, me 29M, has been flirting with her coworker, fellow student guy. So, I'm a 29-year guy who's been married to a 27 woman for 3.5 years, been together for 5.5 years. We have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter. For the last year our relationship has been tough. A lot of fights and misunderstandings, with some good moments, but a lot of tough moments too. Basically, I would say that our relationship with each other got tougher as our daughter was born, which a lot of the times are the case. That, with daily work schedules, daily errands, duties, which have led to small amount of time spent together as a couple, just as a family. And basically for the past year my wife has been really disappointed in our relationship, and with me. She expects for me to be much more than a father, a home partner, which is obviously understandable. As I know, myself, that I haven't been the best husband. I haven't paid attention to her as much as it should be. But I feel like I don't receive the same from her, as the times when I've tried to do more, I haven't felt anything back from her. And as of the fights, there have been many of them where I have said some awful stuff to her, but she said bad stuff too. But a lot of the times I've said those things because I have felt really disrespected from her, like feeling like being treated as lesser human, by being mean to me. But we've talked about this a lot and that has gotten better lately, which was really good to feel. So for the past 2 months she's gotten into college, police academy, to be exact, as it was something she wanted to do long time ago. The last 2 months has been even tougher on our time spent together, as her days start really early and she's home late, because she spends around 30 minutes commuting one way to college. And I've felt like it was tough on her too, for me too, obviously, as she only got to spend around 2 to 3 hours a day with us only. And there have been weeks where I've felt she's been really stressed out and depressed. But week ago we got her a car, so she can be home earlier, for which she was really happy. So Monday Saturday as of writing this she went first time with her car to her school. So I thought she would be much earlier home, which I couldn't wait. Her studies ends usually around 4:30 p.m., so expected her to be home around 6 p.m. But around that time I got text from her saying that she hasn't went of and are spending time with study girlfriends and said that she will be leaving around 6 p.m. But as hours went, I sent her texts, she wasn't answering, including my calls. I got really stressed as she didn't say anything, didn't she inform me. She's never done it like that. And she got home around 10 p.m. when me and our daughter was sleeping. Being mad and disappointed, I didn't really chat with her next day, which we usually do. The next day, she got home around 8 p.m. said spent time with the girls, and didn't really inform me what she was doing, which again, was first ever something like that. Didn't she drive anywhere? But I could check the location on her phone and I saw her driving around the city capital of our country. But when she came home, I was mad and angry and confronted her about this, but she said she spent time with girls and the traffic was bad, so that's why she was late. And didn't drive around the city as she doesn't feel as good driving around yet, as it's her first car. And when I said that I saw that she was driving around, she got really mad, surprised, and said that she doesn't want to talk about it and I'm crazy, and to leave all this situation alone and forget it. So, the next day she got home around the same time, acting weird when coming home, same stories and so on. That the traffic was really bad and it takes 2 to 3 hours to get home, but I know it takes around 10 to 20 minutes. Thursday, she came home even later, acting weird. But I've knew all week that something was off. I mean, all this lying, coming home late, not wanting to talk about it, getting angry at me for being angry about this. And all this week, no, something was off. I felt really bad, cried a lot and so on. Couldn't think straight. When she came home Thursday, which was her last this week, I said I feel awful and feel like something is off, and asked her to help me to deal with that. And took her close to me and asked her if she wants to tell me something. Saw her eyes got teary and said that it's tough, and kinda got mad that again I wasn't feeling good and wanted to start an argument. But the next day was our family day and then we had stuff to do and we went together with our daughter to Burger Place after that. Previous evening we had talked, felt better. I said I want everything for her, but I felt she was distant either way. And while we were eating, she was taking photos, and I lied that she will put it on IG, which she never does, never takes photos of her food, and laughed at me. But I knew something was off. She was on her phone all the time and has been weirdly hiding it all week. Later I got a chance to see it, which isn't the right thing to do, but there was it. She had been texting with a guy, sending him her launch photo, with flower emoji. But previous messages had been deleted. Imagine being with family, while texting and flirting with another guy. Then I confronted her about this and she got angry and later we talked. She said that she has been attracted for one guy for a while and they've been chatting, but nothing physical, and that I lead her to this, that wasn't receiving love from me and so on. And she said that her late arriving has been due to seeing therapist, not being with that guy, as he leaves after end time. I want to make everything right for her, make her feel everything. Then as we talked, she said she blocked him after our talk, as I've said I want to do everything for her, which is true. But later that day, I always saw she was on her phone, WhatsApp, online, chatting. And after that, turned her network off, which is really weird. And this morning I went again, I checked her phone, couldn't see as she saw me doing it, because she was still hiding. And then she got really angry about it, as I've never seen her before, said how can I do that, why I don't trust her. But how can I, when she lied to me, kinda, cheated, admitted, still hid and acted distant and being on her phone all the time, putting it aside when I'm close to her. Maybe she didn't chat with him anymore, and I made fool of myself. But I thought, could she drop him off so fast, if she's been attracted to him? Wow, what a rant. There's just too much info to tell. I feel like my 24F best friend 24M abandoned me when I needed him most. How can I discuss my disappointment without being accusatory or nagging? I've known my best friend T for 5 years. We just clicked, and I truly love him. However, I'm having a hard time getting over something that happened. I don't know whether I should just let it go or bring it up. T and I were part of the same friend group. We knew each other from school and spent pretty much all our time together. Last year, T left the R Masters program while the rest of our group stayed for our final year. We still all lived in the same city, but he just was with the group left often. The two of us kept texting all day and hanging out together pretty often though. I started struggling with my place in the group. I had a problem with one girl, Y, in particular. We just had very opposite worldview. I felt pretty annoyed or offended by some stuff she did. Example: I thought it was really rude to be late, because you don't respect the other person's time and schedule. She thought trying to impose a strict schedule on someone was bourgeois and disrespectful. I tried to mention it to another girl in our group, and she told me that yeah, maybe, but Y also had her qualms with me. It wasn't just a one-way street. The thing is, I felt like it was. I kept trying to be mindful of Y and not show my annoyance, but I didn't feel like she did the same. I often felt judged and diminished for what I said, even when I was trying to be nice. On the other hand, I kept trying to keep it in when I felt offended by what she said, because I felt guilty for feeling that way. I kept thinking I had a bad and irritable personality, otherwise I wouldn't care so much. I guess I should have been more confident and stood up for myself. I felt so bad I kept talking about it with T, who wasn't hanging with the whole group that often at that point. He kept telling me, you know, in life there's buddies and there's friends. I guess they're just not real friends. Don't get so involved and bothered by it. Take a step back. I felt like it wasn't super useful to me. He had left the school and has another life outside of it now, but I was still there, and saw the group every day. We were always together and they were my only friends. It was a big deal to me. At some point it got so bad that he was at home with me, and I was just crying in bed hysterically. I kept saying I didn't know what to do, that I was feeling like I was crazy, but that I was not, that it truly was going bad. At one point I just said, I cannot handle this on my own. I wish someone would help me. I can't do it. I need help. And he looked at me, didn't really say much, and after a while said he'd leave me alone, 'cause he felt that was what I needed. I truly think that he didn't know how to deal with the situation and my emotional outburst and tried to do what he could. But it took a lot for me to finally ask for help and he just left. Turns out a few days later the tension in the group finally became unbearable. I had a mental breakdown and ended up cutting myself, something I had only done a couple of times years ago. I just felt so overwhelmed that the tension and stress needed a way out, and it was self-harm for me. I just stopped talking to the group and left. T tried to be there for me, and we kept hanging out. He kept on seeing the group from time to time. I ended up moving out the city a few weeks ago, and he told me he was super sad about it, that he didn't really have many friends left there. And that he was getting kind of annoyed with the group anyway. I'm honestly feeling pretty angry. He said to me multiple times that he and I were true friends, and the rest of the group were just buddies. But he never took a stand for me when it was going badly, never tried to mediate the situation. When I explicitly asked for help, because I was desperate, he left, and I ended up so helpless that the only recourse I had was self-harm. I can't blame him for me cutting myself, and I don't, but sound like he didn't care about the group that much. But still couldn't confront them or even speak a word in my defense when I needed it the most. I thought I would get over it, but I haven't, and I would like to bring it up with him. But I don't know how to do it in a way that's not accusatory or confrontational. We're both going through a pretty rough period right now, and I just don't want to add to that. Maybe I should just let sleeping dogs lie. But I can't seem to shake up my resentment. I'm kind of at a loss. I just feel like maybe he doesn't care for me like I care for him, and this fear stops me from communicating with him. I wonder if I'm asking too much. I'm scared that if I do bring it up, he'll tell me that I'm just asking for too much from him. My mom sometimes tells me that I tend to be quite demanding when it comes to friendships. Sometimes I feel like maybe I should just wait for time to pass and for us to grow apart, but it just sounds so sad. I want to keep being friends with him, but I feel so disappointed. I'm pretty sure he's got no clue how I feel. My 19F girlfriend said her gay boy best friend understands her more and is easier to find comfort with. I'm 19M and am unsure of what to do. I have been dating my girlfriend for a little over a year, and over the past 4 months she has been more distant, to the point where we were hanging out once a week, going on a date, etc. Now it's at where I'm lucky to see her once a month or get a text back on the same day, and I want to see her more and go do more things with her. I communicated that with her after a couple of weeks of her being distant, and she said she was struggling with mental health issues and that she didn't want to lose me, but she never has energy anymore, and that she was sorry. I responded basically saying it's okay, we will work through it, and that I love her, etc. So as the months go on, she just gets more distant, to the point where I get a text maybe every 3 days, and it's always sorry I was too tired, or sorry I went out and did this and fell asleep after, or sorry I am not in a good headspace currently, and then nothing else. As usual, I always replied with something like, "It's all good, don't worry, I love you, just let me know if there's anything I can do to help." But I won't lie, at this point it was starting to make me have almost a resentment for her, and that was mainly because her friends would post a few times a week, and obviously I would see them, and my girlfriend would always be out with them, either at a dinner get-together or some party or something like that, and I would always think she has the energy to go out and do activities, but not shoot me a single text that takes a few seconds. And I noticed that her gay boy best friend was in every single pic right next to her, which, okay, they're friends, but they also were doing one-on-one activities like going to the movies and going to get lunch, which is okay, I guess, but during this time period I'm on read or delivered for multiple days, and whenever I ask if she's available, it's always, "Oh, I'm busy," or "I'll let you know." Then she never does, so it would annoy me that she has all this time for some other dude that I have never met, and all I know apt him, is what she tells me. So I eventually got her to agree on a day and time to call, and after a few days of her not answering or canceling, she finally got on the phone with me. It was all normal. To begin with, But I eventually just asked, have your feelings for me changed, because I know you're going through a lot of mental health problems, but recently it has felt like something different. Okay, she takes probably about a minute of just silence to reply and says no, her feelings have not changed, that she still loves me and that she just doesn't have the energy to do things anymore because of her mental health, and that according to her she is having like an identity crisis. So then I explained why I asked, and I said I asked because it feels like she has time to see everyone but me, and then she said she gets how I feel that way, and she acknowledged that the relationship was getting very one-sided and she was sorry, and then her reasoning for being able to go out with friends constantly, but not me, was because the dynamic was very different. According to her, when she goes out with me she has to put much higher levels of effort in which she doesn't always have the energy for because of her mental health. And then she said she didn't want to tell me this, but her therapist told her that she isn't ready for a relationship and shouldn't be in one. She then said that she told her therapist she probably wasn't going to break up with me. This was like an hour phone call, so everything wasn't included, but she ended up bringing up how I always seemed jealous of her gay best friend, since whenever she mentioned him I just gave a short answer or switched subjects, and my response to this was I wasn't jealous much, but it really is not my favorite thing to talk about, and I have never met the guy and do not know much about him. And I said I think it might be because to me it seems like you always have time for him but not me. She then said, exactly, this is going to sound horrible, I shouldn't say it. She then said that her gay best friend was way more understanding than me of what she is going through mentally, and is way easier to seek comfort in than me, and has been a rock for her to lean on recently and has helped a lot. So I said okay and asked how I could be more understanding. Her only answer to that was for me to just stop saying it will get better, which I said okay, but I was pretty much lost for words. But I said, how am I supposed to be there for you and be more understanding if you push me away? And she didn't say anything after that. I pretty much just said I love her and that I had to go to sleep. But the past few days it's been getting to me a lot more than I would want to admit. I just think, why is she even in a relationship with me if I'm not understanding and easy to seek comfort in? And she did say that she sees him like just another one of her normal friends, but if I'm being honest, I do not think she is physically cheating on me or something like that, but I think there is a high chance it's an emotional cheating thing, and this is random. But her gay boy best friend has also been posting her, my girlfriend, a lot recently, which is just weird because he hasn't posted in well over a year but is now sorry if none of this makes sense. I'm sleep deprived and just wanna get my thoughts out there. I also would prefer to salvage this relationship, but IDK if that would be possible, because I think we have different boundaries. Should I end this relationship, or am I going too far thinking too deeply about it? I have been dating my girlfriend 19F for over a year, but she's become increasingly distant, saying it's because of mental health issues. My girlfriend has been spending a lot of time with her gay best friend and has revealed that her therapist thinks she shouldn't be in a relationship because she is not ready. I am feeling neglected and suspect emotional infidelity. Should I end this relationship, or am I going too far?